Empowerment Through Knowledge Publishing and Serena Stone present The Tequila Drinker's Guide to Health and Wellness Radio Hour with your host, author and medical Qigong educator, Serena Stone. Featuring the director of the Universal Healing Tao and author of dozens of books on natural health and longevity, Tao Master Mantak Chia. This show is for all of us who work hard and play hard. Those of us who are willing to try new things to improve their life, and those who will not tolerate victimization as an answer to health and wellness issues. And now, the Tequila Drinker's Guide to Health and Wellness, Episode 18, The Power of Laughter. Today's show is about the healing power of laughter. Recorded live in the Arizona desert, our guest, Mordant Mahon, is a motivational comedian and an expert on the healing power of a smile.
Today's podcast is about the healing power of laughter. Would you stop laughing at me? Because he is not accustomed to this voice.
Hi.
All right, we're going to start this over again, and we're probably going to end up keeping it. I know, he's going to make me keep it.
Come on.
No, I'm going to start my speech. Today's podcast is about the healing power of laughter. Recorded live in the Arizona desert, our guest, Mordant Mahon, is an expert on the power of a smile. Mordant Mahon, who I kind of want to hit in the head right now, is a man of many hats and many names. We're going to talk about that today. He travels around the U.S. performing comedy shows at Renaissance theme parks with his troupe, the Tortuga Twins. But that's just his day job. He also co-hosts the comedic motivational podcast Success Freaks, as well as the humanitarian disaster relief organization IRUSA's What a Relief podcast. He is a Universal Healing Tao instructor and definitely believes laughter is medicine. All right, Mr. Funny Man, now you can say hi.
Hi. Hi.
Okay.
Welcome to the podcast. Well, we've been talking for a little while, and Serena is talking to me in her normal Serena voice. We've been friends for decades, and I wasn't prepared for the hi. Now welcome to the dulcet tones of this podcast. So
Yeah.
and it's a podcast about laughter, so we can laugh.
I think so.
With each other.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to spend a couple of minutes, and I want our listeners I just want them to know who you are, get an idea of how you became this personality. I mean, you're a pretty well-known guy. So I'm going to ask you a couple of simple questions. First, how many times have you traveled to Thailand to study with Master Chia?
I actually had to think about this. I believe it's been 3 times. I think I went once in 99, once in 2006, and then once in 2008.
Okay, now the last time I think you just went there, did you even
Or was it
take
2009?
did you even take classes? I think you were actually working for Master Chia, writing for him.
Yes, I was working not in the office, but for the office. I was able to work. I do most of my writing in my room. I was like,
Was that the year you passed Tai Chi and I didn't? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but ask me how to do everything now.
Yeah, well, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Actually, we're going to talk about that now because question number 2. I know you're a multi-certified medical Qigong instructor under Master Chia's Universal Healing Tao, but each teacher uses his or her knowledge differently. So how do you apply your knowledge to your work with people? And folks, again, Mordant is a comedian. He's a co-host for a couple of podcasts. He's a pretty sought-after guy. So, but you're not teaching. You don't call yourself, a medical Qigong instructor.
I don't. I'm like a comedic, motivational guy. No, something that's interesting about doing energy work is just like when you're on the airplane and the airplane's about to go down and the oxygen masks come down. Before you put it on your child so the child doesn't perish, you have to put it on yourself. Energy works like that. You have to work on yourself first. You have to work on, it's almost being selfish in a way. And people ask, well, should I be selfish? At the beginning of your self-actualization, you have to. So you work on yourself until you build up your energy and you become healthy enough that you can then begin to help other people. So for me, it's not really a proactive thing. It's just that it's affected a change in my life. It's affected a change in who I am, whether it's with my comedy, with my personal life, or anything else. I still laugh like everybody else. I still get angry inappropriately like other people, but I can check myself too. I can see it. I'm self-aware, so I can adjust that. So the way I use it to work with other people is it just kind of affects me and it changes who I am in my own interactions. It's not a conscious thing. I just do the work and it happens.
Right.
So
that totally makes sense. So, whatever we bring to the table affects everybody sitting at the table with us.
Yes.
Okay. So if you come in crabby that day, then, we get that. But like you use the word self-aware. I think those of us who are self-aware and also have some tools in their medicine bag to do something about pain. I'm talking about emotional pain, mental pain. Those of us who are aware, like, it's this thought pattern that I have that is screwing up my experience and not letting me accept what's really going on here. And I have these tools. I read these books. I studied with Master Mantak, Chia, whatever it is. I have these tools. I'm going to pull myself out of this. Maybe I'll come back to the table tomorrow and not be such a pain in the butt.
Now, you can also, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, like, if you have an important meeting or if you're meeting with clients or with family or with friends or whatever, if you do some energy work, if you do some meditation before that, it is going to balance you. It is going to center you. And I'm even still mystified. It works on my synchronicity. I'll do like 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week. I'm meditating on something, and whether it's just clearing my mind, so I'm reconnecting with the source, so that all of the stuff that's in the way gets put to the side. I'll be like, oh, I haven't done that all this week, and maybe I should, and I don't have time. I have to do this and this. Okay, I'm just going to take 15 minutes. My 15 minutes, I'll usually go through one cycle, and then it turns into 30 minutes because it's felt so good. And dang it, if you don't know, the moment I get up and all of a sudden this thing that I wanted to have happen, or during the middle of my meditation, this thing I couldn't figure out or that's been causing me such consternation, everything falls into place, or an inspiration, an idea comes up, and it's like, oh, why don't I do that? And then the rest of this happened this past week. The rest of my day is just beautiful, where I was so stressed before for the last few days. So you can always work on yourself. But even if you're not, it's still working because you've done the work.
So
how many times can I say the word work?
Enough. You can keep saying it. For me, because I'm starting to study quantum physics now more. Everything you say, there is actually a physical explanation. There is proof now that the wave of possibility emitted by the brain is actually being programmed by your thoughts. If you sit down for that 15 or 30 minutes and you use the phrase, push the negativity off to the side, okay? Just 15 to 30 minutes every other day, whatever it is that you need, and just focus on what we want, that wave of possibility, is much stronger because it's not just some random, oh, golly, I wish I had that, and then you move on thought. It's 15 to 30 minutes of actually focusing that wave of programmed possibility in the direction you want it to go. And then it should happen. You should get rockstar parking.
Mm-hmm.
You should get that phone call. You should get that opportunity. You should get that answer. We're all doing it. It's still, I think it's fascinating. We all still act really surprised every time it works.
Yeah. Well, and you need to be careful too with focusing on what you want, because sometimes what most of us do, including myself, is then you're going to start focusing on the fact that you don't have it. And you don't want that to come to the table. I've been working a lot on just well, what do we all want in life? We want to be healthy, we want more money, we want to have a lot of friends or a relationship or whatever. I've been trying to center all of that on I want to be happy, because everything's going to come if I can achieve that, and in my day-to-day achieve the fact that I'm happy. It doesn't mean that when the world's crumbling around me, I'm going to stick my head in the sand and go, ooh, everything's fine, because then you're lying to yourself as well. But if you can focus on being happy, or you focus on, if you're looking for money in your life, you focus on the feeling of having that money. Or remember a time when you did. If you start thinking about, oh, I got to be able to pay my bills, then you're just going to start creating the lacks or the
exactly.
need to pay the bills.
It doesn't matter what we're thinking.
Right.
Okay? Because the universe will just grow whatever it is that's on our mind.
Yeah, and what you're feeling is a great barometer for that. And that's why we talk about laughter is the best medicine. If you can get yourself to be happy, you raise the water level on being happy, on having smiles and laughter in your life, then the stuff that you're worried about, the stuff that you're like, oh, I should be concentrating on this. No, don't concentrate on that. That stuff that you would be worrying about, it's going to rise as well. So if you do it in one part of your life, focus on something that's relatively easy. You can get more and more general. Those of you who've studied before know that I've been studying Abraham Hicks for a while. That's where a lot of this is. That's what I'm working on lately. So if you
love Abraham Hicks,
if you can focus on, I don't know, image a kitty or a pet or something,
anything other than that horrible negative belief.
Right.
All right. Well, let me ask you something. How about a little rant about this whole concept of laughter as medicine? Because I think that actually fits in with what we're talking about. I'm thinking that laughter has to be better than thinking about loss. I'm thinking that when people come to your show, and for those of you who don't know, just check, Google Renaissance Festivals, Tortuga Twins, find out where they're at. I've seen it. I have seen unhappy, unhealthy people come to your show and sit down. Okay, maybe they're sitting down with 4 beers. Okay, I'm going to give you that. All right, they tend to do that, but it seems to me that for that 40 minutes or however long your show is, it's almost like everybody forgets themselves, and the energy of the space is completely different once you guys start prancing about in tights, okay, and making funny jokes and including you include your audience. That's my experience as a person who sits in the audience. I would imagine up there it must feel amazing.
Well, we're talking about laughter as medicine, but I also think that happiness is medicine, and whatever can lead to that. And I don't have the study with me right now, but they have found that just raising the corners of your mouth into a smile releases dopamine into your system, which causes you to feel light and happier. And if you can get to that, my own experience on this last week, I was very, very stressed out. How am I going to do this? Oh, I've got to do this, all this work. I've got to work on this and create this, and I can't figure it out. And as soon as I did the meditation, I relaxed enough and the idea popped up. I'm like, oh, well, that's a lot easier. And it was, being able to smile and be happy, it allows you to see all the opportunities for whatever, or all the solutions for whatever problem you're dealing with. If it's stuck in fight or flight mode, you have 2 things you can do. You can beat this thing up or you can run away from it. But what if there's other choices? The only way you're going to see those other choices is if you can relax enough, if you can become happy, if you can laugh enough and enjoy yourself enough that you can go, oh, here's the other thing that we can do. One of the things that we do on stage when I work with 2 other guys, usually just 2 other guys, and there'll be times where the show's not going well. And wait
a minute. What does that mean? The show's not going well.
The audience, this laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
The audience is not laughing,
okay.
And it's hot, and these jokes that were funny last week, why are they not funny this week? And it's just this silence, or it's just you can feel that you ride on this vibe that the audience is feeding you, And if it's not going well, then you can definitely feel that. And what happens usually is we'll look at each other and somebody will say, day at the beach. And what that means is, it's consider this day at the beach. You know, we're not digging ditches somewhere. We're not slinging hash, because we used to do that. We're performing on stage and they're paying us. So no matter, even a bad day is a great day. So just treat it like a day at the beach. And then inevitably somebody will start laughing, you know, at the situation about how badly we're doing. It will change our outlook, and it will change the audience's outlook. And all of a sudden we'll have them again. You know, it helps also that we've created a forum in where it's okay to screw up. Somebody drops a line, we can stop and go, okay, we said this, we said this, we said this. Oh, we must be here. And the audience loves that. You know, and if you make it okay for yourself to screw up, that means when you're in the middle of a screw up, you can be relaxed enough to be able to get your poop together.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh no, I don't know my next line and now I'm all freaked out, so I'm never going to remember it. It's like, no, stay relaxed so that you can remember these things, so that you can see the other options in front of you, and you can laugh at at being screwed up and know that it's okay.
Well, and what I think is really neat is I've seen you guys do that.
You've seen us mess up?
Yeah,
we do it a lot.
As Mordant said, we've known each other for decades, and I've seen you do it. I think what impresses me is that when you guys actually, what do they call it? The breaking the third wall or fifth wall, or
I think it's the third wall.
Yeah,
Fourth wall?
One of those walls.
Break one of the walls.
Break one of those walls.
Yeah, I'm an actor. Can't you tell?
Yeah. And what you do is, for just those few seconds, you include the audience in on your vulnerability, and that you're not, making too much of it. You're not, being self-deprecating about it, not in an ugly way.
Right.
That everybody has a chance to go, well, that was a big screw up. Let's move on now, shall we?
Yeah.
And everybody feels better.
If you can embrace, instead of, what I tell people is, don't apologize for yourself. Okay, I haven't really learned this thing and I'm probably going to screw it up, and okay, I'm just going to sing it. It's like, stop apologizing. Stop teaching me that you're going to be awful at this. But really embrace your awfulness. If you're going to screw up, have fun with it and laugh with the audience. Because then they'll see you as whether you're a professional or whatever it is that you're doing, and they'll enjoy that aspect of it. And you can laugh, you can bring them into the laughter, and it's okay. When we first start, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around a lot.
No, that's okay.
When we first start a brand new show, we'll write the show out, and usually the first day we perform it, it's beautiful, wonderful, everything's perfect, and then from then on it just tanks. And we have what we call a season of suck. It takes about a whole year for us to figure out our timing, what jokes work, what jokes don't. Mostly it's the timing. You will see us when we first start learning a show or start performing a show, we're all facing in at each other so we can see each other, the three of us. And then as we really start memorizing or feeling comfortable with it, we'll all turn out to the audience. And that's a very telling thing. We'll take the script the first few times, we'll hand it to the audience and say, you're the dumbass alarm. So when one of us messes up or we can't remember our line, we'll look at you and you'll read the line and you'll say, dumbass at the end of it. So blah, 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 dumbass. It's a big laugh and everybody loves it. And, it's how we learn our scripts. It's a lot of fun.
Wow. I wish we could take that into our lives, folks. I hope you're paying attention to this, because this is actually Mordant's life. How many months out of the year are you on the road with your comedy troupe?
Most. We start in February and we go till about June. We take a break for about a month. And then July we pick up to mid-December.
Wow, that's a lot.
So we do about 6 or 7 festivals a year.
That's a lot. And obviously you've had a lot of practice at laughing at yourself.
Yeah, you have to. When I first started doing the motivational stuff, I have a YouTube vlog called Mordant TV, and you can find it at mordantworld.tv. But a friend of mine was doing a video blog a day, and I'm like, well, I can do that. I'll do that. And so I started doing a video blog a day, and the very first ones I did, I would punctuate everything with this little twitchy thing. I look like I had some kind of, it's like, and I'm watching myself going, oh my God, I have to change that. But it was a process. And I posted all those things up so that people can see this is what it looks like as you're getting better. I've recently started doing something new. I've started writing and reading poetry and making noise on the table.
Yeah.
I started writing and reading like slam poetry and stuff like that. And I did my first performance with it, and I had somebody record it. I'm like, this will be cool. And some of it, I memorized some of it, read some of it. But damn, if you didn't do that same, I'm twitchy. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to relearn not to do that. So it's just I don't know why I got on this tangent about this. But
That's okay. While we're talking about laughter, we're talking
laughing at yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think what we're getting here, listeners, is what Mordant is talking about is laughing at himself, but he's sincere about it. He really, he really means it. He's taken a look at his foibles, his weaknesses, and he makes his mistakes in front of thousands of people. Okay. And what he's done is so he can have a happy day. My way of saying it is my meditations. I usually just ask for a nice day. By the way, that's something you and I have in common.
Yeah.
One of the things that he's really hung on to, because he's an expert at comedy, is how to smile and how to laugh, just how to be happy. Now, we can get into the quantum physics of it, and we will in other shows, but the bottom line is every moment that Mordant does not spend focusing on how bad he is, how wrong he is, how he screwed this up, and what he doesn't have. Every moment that he's not thinking about that is a moment that he is calling joy and prosperity and love into his life. And it's really just that simple. Now, before we run out of time, because we are 18 minutes into this already, I really want to talk about these podcasts that you're doing. So let's go. Let's go with Success Freaks first. And folks, it's Success Freaks. I will speak contact information for that at the end of this show, but we'll also have links if you're listening to us on the internet. Okay, but for now, just tell us, what is Success Freaks and what is your part in it?
Success Freaks is a comedic motivational podcast where we will talk about everything from business to relationships to a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here. I am a co-host with one of two other people. I worked with Charles for many years in the beginning. Then I worked with Kirsten, and now I'm just not sure what's going to happen with. I'm taking a break, but they're still out there.
Okay.
Success Freaks is definitely out there. If you want something to hear people, especially with Charles and I, we didn't always agree on how the motivation stuff went. So you got to hear two people trying to be positive, but never agreeing. Somebody didn't professionally turn down their phone.
Somebody did not turn down their phone.
And it wasn't me this time.
And here we have a little Eartha Kitt. Here. Okay. And now you have to go away. All right, let's just keep going, shall we?
Right. See, you have to be able to laugh at stuff like that. Because that's what's wonderful. I love podcasting because, suddenly there'll be this big loud noise or somebody will walk through the room or whatever. And if you can laugh at it and have a good time with it instead of, oh, no, I got to restart that. Oh, no, I got to restart that. When I was doing my video blog, there was one that I restarted. I got through most of it and then screwed it up. And then I restarted like 7 times. I kid you not. And kid is not the word I want to use. 7 times. And then I went back and looked at the first one. And if I had just took a moment and finished it, it was perfect. It was fine. And that taught me just finish the thing off. If you have to add stuff up later, not a big deal. But just finish and enjoy it. Stop self judging yourself or critiquing yourself as you go. Just be in the moment, have a good time with whatever you're doing, and laugh.
So with Success Freaks, you can take this idea that you have on how to be a regular person and be happy in this life. You've taken those concepts and you can apply it, like you said, toward business, toward personal, toward health, whatever it is that you're talking about. So you pretty much keep your platform of who you are.
Right.
Okay. And you can just apply the same knowledge toward a lot of things. We do the same thing with Qigong. It's smile to your heart, smile to, breathe in a positive emotion, exhale the negative, and bring that balanced emotional state to whatever it is that we do. We believe it affects our health. We believe it affects our relationships, and therefore it does. Yeah. All right, so that's Success Freaks. Now you got another one here that I'm actually really interested in. So let's give this a little bit of attention. The What a Relief podcast. I'd like you to tell our listeners, what is it? And who does it serve? And why should they listen? Because I've listened to a few of them.
Yeah.
It touches my heart every time.
We work for a humanitarian disaster relief organization called IRUSA, Islamic Relief USA. They approached us. They approached Success Freaks, and they wanted to be a sponsor. And the guy that actually came up to us is Carl. We like to call him Damn it, Carl. And I don't know why they find that amusing, but they do. But he's like, I'm the poster child for this. I'm a white guy from DC and I'm a Muslim. I'm like, okay. So, and that one of the first things was, okay, we're going to vet you and see what you're about. You know what we are, right? You know that we are pro-gay rights. You know that we're this and this and this. He's like, yes, and we still want to do this. I'm like, okay. So we vetted each other. I found what they do is they go into places like if there's wildfires in California or the Flint, Michigan water crisis or whatever, they put boots on the ground. Basically, the Red Cross goes in, figures out what they need, contacts IRUSA, and they put people in. Not all of them are Muslim. There are Catholics that I've met that work there. There's Christians. There's whatever. It is a nonprofit that goes in and helps in the United States and worldwide. They're also concerned with what's happening in Syria, in anywhere else in the world, actually. And I've learned so much about these people, about their issues. It's some of the proudest work I've ever done. One of my favorite was talking to a woman while she was at the UN for an interfaith convention or conference on women's issues. And that was just amazing, being able to talk to people like that, being able to talk to a man who had been on the Isle of Lesbos in Greece, receiving boats coming in from Syria and really putting a human face. Things that I didn't think about is that, there's been war there for 5 years. You don't realize the kids have not been to school, that fathers are just worried about their children and worried about, getting out of places. I've seen pictures of Syria before the war and now what it looks like and the things that they're going through. But there's a lot of stuff that's happening here in the U.S.
So wait a minute. So what is your podcast? Podcast?
Oh, I'm sorry. The podcast is about basically talking with people, their people, and talking about what they're doing so that the people who their constituents know where their money is going to. It's also talking about different issues. I've spoken with senators. I've spoken with people who are not involved, who are not in IRUSA, but who are working in hand with them over different issues. Okay. So it's different things like that.
Wow, that's really amazing work. Do you foresee yourself staying there and working with them for a while?
Yeah, and it's not. And what's fun is I am also working with Dana Carl. So it is. There is comedy involved in it as well. We kind of tell our guests, listen to the podcast first, so you know what it's like. And we have people that, much like you have dealt with, have come up and go, well, are you going to give me questions, or are you going to do this, or are you going to do that? And we're like, it's more of a conversation. Anything that you don't like. Anything that you don't like, we will take care of. There was actually somebody we had to change their voice because I don't know if it was in Jordan or someplace like that. They were worried about the government and things like that. So we had to change their voice. But for the most part, it was still talking about, we're a 501c3. So there is no talk about politics and, we're against this person or you have to do this or call to action about that. It's like, no, it's about helping the people out. And that's what we're here to talk about.
Listeners, a 501c3 is a very specific kind of nonprofit. They're an educational nonprofit. So when Mordant says there's certain things they can't talk about, that's what he means. All right. I cannot believe how quickly 25 minutes went by. How do people learn more about you, your comedy, your podcasts? Where do we find you?
If you want to find for my comedy, tortugatwins.com. Tortuga, like Spanish word for turtle. Twins, plural. tortugatwins.com.
Go ahead and spell it.
TORTUGATWINS.com.
Okay, well, we know .com. Okay, we can do .com.
If you want to find stuff for me, Mordant, successfreaks.com, SUCCESSFREAKS.com. Or you can see my videos, mordantworld.tv, MORDANTWORLD.tv.
Now, if folks if folks go onto those sites, is there any kind of contact information for you?
Yeah, you can find me that.
Okay. Hey, you know what?
I'm also on Facebook. Anything Mordant World is me.
Okay.
Anything. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Anything, you can just Google Mordant World or.
Well, clearly you have.
There's one more. IRUSA.
Oh yeah.
.org/podcast. PODCASTS. Podcasts.
Oh dear God!
I know, right?
You're going to give all this to me, and we're going to go ahead and put some links there on our website for sure, folks. I mean, I don't know about so much calling Mordant, and asking for counsel or anything, but I think you may want to find him so you can just listen to the guy on a podcast. A podcast can be heard all over the world. Or if you're in America, look up the Renaissance festivals. They're absolutely wonderful, and see where his show is. And what I really like about this conversation is that we have a guy here who's he's not a doctor. He's, not, I don't know, not a doctor, basically.
Not a doctor.
Not a doctor. But he still has a methodology that he's sharing with others, A, through his personal work, but B, through the energy and the personality that he emits as a result of his self-work and of knowing himself. And this vibration, it goes out over the internet, and it goes out, over thousands of people a day when you perform. And it does make a difference, even if it's just for that moment. So you may want to, at the end of your day, listen to some of these podcasts, or I don't know, go to the Tortuga Twins website and pick up I don't know, what do we have, DVDs now?
DVDs.
We doing downloads yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right, come on.
Hey, there's going to be an app soon.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Keep talking.
But anyway, I want to warn everybody, those of you looking for the Tortuga Twins, if you listen to all my other stuff, it's very nice, it's very genteel, and etc. We're a little bawdy. So just be forewarned that it's,
Wait a minute. I thought they have to drink 4 beers before they watch the DVD.
Well, they do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it'll be fine. All right, folks. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Say bye.
That's all, folks.
Thank you for joining us on another Empowerment Through Knowledge adventure. Want to learn more? Find Master Chia at mantakchia.com. That's MantakChia.com. Find advanced learning materials, books, and more at serenastone.com. That's SARINASTONE.com. Thanks for listening, and if you like what you heard, please subscribe today. This podcast was produced by J.C. Warfield Productions in conjunction with the Echo Chamber Studio, Minneapolis, Minnesota.